Weird corn, weird mushrooms, some weird plants, and a few weird rare fruits all coming up on this episode of Foods You've Never Heard of, Part 8. Number 10, the Oaxacan green dent corn. Native to southern Mexico, Native Americans domesticated this corn along with all other varieties. The Oaxacan green dent corn was cultivated by the Zapotec people of southern Mexico and grows 6 inches to 10 inches long. Their iconic green masa or cornmeal yielded green tortillas and green tamales. This heirloom variety of Z maize is a grain corn. Grain corn has high starch content and low sugar content, making it ideal for cornmeal and grits. The large, smooth green kernels are iconic as their green color isn't common. Its creamy, rich, nutty flavors don't normally last through to corn bred for production, but this corn is unique. As indicated in the name, the Oaxacan green dent corn, the dent, an iconic feature of this corn, develops as it dries. Consumed, they offer a lot of carbohydrates and fiber. The Oaxacan green corn was historically a member of the Three Sisters. Ancient Mesoamerican societies first domesticated these 3 crops, which worked together in harmony. Corns, beans, and squash all be planted in a mound together. Corn stalks would provide bean trellises, the beans would provide nitrogen for the soil, and the squash plants would break down, providing mulch. Number 9, golden ear fungus, sometimes called witch's butter. This mushroom is edible and medicinal. It was originally described in 1774 in Sweden. These mushrooms are parasitic of other mushrooms, most notably ones that break down trees. They're found on hardwood with bark intact. This is the case here, as you can see on this beach where I found them. There are no known toxic look-alike mushrooms, making this one safe to forage. With that said, you should always have someone who has experience identifying mushrooms to verify them. You don't want to end up composting yourself on the beach. Thought of as a survival mushroom, some eat it raw, others cook it. They're available year-round, offering a somewhat slimy texture, which is mostly tasteless. Instead, this mushroom gives one a sensation when they eat it. A cool tingling will occur when it hits your tongue, very much like Vicks Vapor Rub. Some think it tastes like calamari. It's more of a texture experience than anything. One website stated that they fried it with salt and Cajun spices to liven it up a bit. They have been shown to have anti-tumor properties and has the potential to treat respiratory conditions. Number 8, Encephalertos ferox. This member of the prehistoric cycads looks similar to palms, but dates back to 60 million years ago. It was first described in 1851 by Bertolini in Mozambique. They're found in shade forests and wooded grasslands. They grow in southern Africa up to Mozambique and are desired as a collector's item, but are becoming threatened in their native areas due to the demand of collectors. This unique plant has their reproductive organs in cones, not the flowers. Edible starch is present in the stems. The starchy pith is removed, tied up in animal skins, fermented, and ground into a meal. The seeds are also highly fleshy and desired by baboons, velvet monkeys, and fruit-eating bats. Number 7, bronze fennel. It's unclear when the bronze fennel was first documented. Native to the Mediterranean, all fennels were used in the times of ancient Egypt. Sometimes this fennel is referred to as purple fennel, red fennel, or smoky fennel. Despite the 3 different types of fennel, bronze, sweet, or Florence, they aren't used really any differently. Like its green brother, the bronze fennel is edible and delicious. Its yellow blossoms have a mild licorice with a sweet herby taste. If you don't like licorice, stay away from the seeds. The pollen of the bronze fennel is desired in the culinary world as a spice. Hardy and prolific, it can be invasive in warmer climates. They're added to winter soups. The seeds freshen your breath and are used in cakes and breads. The fronds, or leaf-like parts, are delicious and added to potatoes or roasted vegetables. They go best with roasted garlic and pesto. They're also used in Chinese medicine to treat snake bites and as a digestive aid in Rome. Number 6, broadleaf kombunji. Found in lowland areas along rivers, ponds, lakes, and swamps, the broadleaf kombunji, so many times I can say that, kombunji, comes from China and Japan down to Australia. Roots can be eaten raw or cooked, often boiled and eaten like potatoes. Dried and ground into a powder, they're used to thicken soups. The young shoots can be eaten raw or cooked. The asparagus-like mature stems are tasty and go well with the seeds, which taste like sweet corn. Young flowering stems can be eaten as well, which are also added to soups. The dried pollen is used as an anticoagulant and are internally used to treat kidney stones. Number 5, Buen Gusto de Horno squash. This Spanish heirloom squash's name translated to English means good taste from the oven. It is believed that the Buen Gusto de Horno squash comes from the Crespo squash, a Peruvian and Bolivian squash. This squash was brought to Spain, where the Buen Gusto and Marina de Chiogaya squash varieties were created. Grown on a rambling vine, this knobby green squash has yellowish-orange flesh on the inside. Its yellowish-orange flesh is excellent baked in the oven. Sometimes this is made into a breakfast pie. How many of you had a breakfast pie? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button if you appreciate these videos, as it's the best way to support the channel. Number 4, phlox. The phlox is a common flower among gardeners' yards. This fragrant flower is edible and delicious. It's important to note here that it's only the perennial phlox that is edible and not the annual one. The phlox is native to eastern United States. The flowers are edible with a mild, bitter flavor with a sweet inner core, which makes them a unique and tasty edible flower. Offering up a creamy floral taste, they range in color from white, pink, violet, red, and lilac. While varying in color, they all taste the same. I've tried a bunch of them from my neighbor's yard. They can be added to salads or soups or stews. Select flowers will have more nectar left in the middle, which adds a really nice sweetness to them. It's probably one of the better tasting flowers I've had. Number 3, Java olive. Native to India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Philippines, Cambodia, and Thailand, this umbrella-shaped tree is unusual in that any part of it that is bruised or cut will emit an unpleasant odor. Found in dry lowlands, along sandstone rocks and riverbanks, this tree produces a unique red fruit that is full of seeds. The seeds are eaten raw, fried, or roasted. Within is a cacao-tasting oil, yet isn't bitter. If roasted, they taste like peanuts, which can have a laxative effect if you eat too many of them. The oil can be used in the same manner as olive oil. Each seed contains 40% oil. Aside from the seeds, the young rootstocks can be eaten raw, which provide a source of starch, which is similar to that of jicama. The fruit is highly astringent and mucilaginous, which is used to treat gonorrhea. Gum from this tree can be harvested and used to bind books in the old way of doing things. Number 2, Megaphririum macrostantium. Native to tropical Africa, this plant is found in wet forests and yields giant leaves and red fruits. The leaves are edible as wraps. When steamed and filled with food, the aroma of the leaves transfers into the food. The globular fruits produced look almost like a cherry on the outside with an inner core of an onion. It isn't known if this fruit is edible or not. Research using the Megaphririum macrostantium to manufacture silver nanoparticles by plant extracts has shown nanoparticles having an antimicrobial effect against E. coli. Aside from eating this plant, it's used to create disposable tableware, pots, containers, funnels, and used to treat snake venom and arthropod stings. Number 1, Amarillo carrot. Native to Afghanistan, all varieties of yellow carrots, like the Amarillo carrot, come from this region. This root vegetable, in the same family as parsnips, dill, cumin, and fennel caraway, has a pretty nice eating experience. It's not woody or fibrous really at all. It's crunchy and full of juice. It's typically added to soups, stews, salads, boiled or roasted. It's a carrot. It's a unique carrot. You'd use it really anywhere you'd eat a normal carrot, basically. They're high in carotenoid lutein, a beta-carotene-like pigment, which gets absorbed as vitamin A. A study out of the Netherlands has shown that yellow and orange colored foods are most protective against cardiovascular disease. That does it for this list. Let me know in the comments below if any of these are being added to your bucket list. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you appreciate these videos. And until next episode, have a good one.